Yes, folks, welcome back here to my channel, Whiskey Wismar, and my name is Christopher. Today we are on the Isle of Taiwan, so not in Scotland, not in the United States, but around the world, on the other side of the world, in Taiwan. And here I brought with me here two very nice whiskies. For once, the Kavalan Sherry Oak with 46%. And vetting of different Oloroso sherry casks, and on the other hand, one of the many available Kavalan Solist bottlings. This one with 57.8% alcohol. Of course, both whiskies not colored and not chill filtered. So I'll just pour a dram of each, small dram, and then I can tell you a little bit about Kavalan and about these whiskies. And afterwards we'll get to nosing and tasting each of them, and of course at the end the score as well. So Kavalan, very young distillery in the grand scheme of things, as it happens to be the owner of the Kinka group. His name was Tien Tsai Lee, or is Tien Tsai Lee. He is a very big malt whiskey fan, particularly partial to the Scottish varieties of Scotch malt whiskey, and he wanted to establish a Taiwanese brand of whiskey. In 2002, Taiwan became official member of the World Trade Organization, and then afterwards the political and trade relational frameworks were then established that this could actually happen in the future. So this is then when he set up his distillery and employed two blenders, or two very important whiskey personnel. One is named Ian Chang, and the other the late Dr. Jim Swan, and they helped him create the whiskies that he wanted to make, that he desired. And in 2008 they then started making their first whiskies, and now 10 years after, you have really countless bottlings on the market, several different vettings in sherry or bourbon casks, single malt with vettings of bourbon and sherry, and of course the one or those bottlings through which Kavalan became so famous in recent years, their single cask offerings called Solist. And before I get to nosing, one word about the age of these whiskies. So the Sherry Oak is a classic no-age statement whiskey. There's no indication on it how old this is. Bottled actually in 2015, so one of the first bottlings of the Sherry Oak line. But the single cask offerings all have a very specific age to them, and you can decipher that if you take a look at the cask number that you always have here on the label. So in this case it's S1003030550A, and the first six numbers are always the important ones. The letter indicates the cask type, in this case S for sherry, and then the first six, 10 for 2010 and 0303 for the 3rd of March. So 3rd of March 2010 is when the distillation date of this whiskey was. And having a look at the bottling date, this is 20th of June 2017. So this makes this single malt here, this single cask, a little older than 7 years. And you have various ages, some only 5 years, some even 8 years. It always depends on when they deem those casks to be ready to be bottled. Now, let's have a look first of all at the Sherry Oak, as it's the lighter of the two with only 46%. So let's have nose, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. Classic sherry profile, very rich, dried fruit, dates, prunes, a little bit of alcohol in the nose at first, but if you let it sit for a few minutes, it's gone. Don't have, all you have left is this beautiful sherry aroma. Quite a lot of spiciness to it as well. So lots of exotic flavors here, reminiscent of curry spice. So ginger, dried ginger, cardamom. I'm not sure if you ever had or eat lots of Indian food there. They have this spice mixture called garam masala. Sort of has a Christmassy component to it, like gingerbread cookies, and this intermingled with all the umami savory flavors here, and fits quite well. So spicy, sweet, dried fruits. Very beautiful nose so far. So let's have a taste. Classic sherry arrival. Sweet at first, lots of fruit, oranges, ripe, juicy oranges, and then immediately after, 2 seconds, 2 seconds after you swallowed or have it in your mouth, it becomes dry in the back. The oak asserts itself. Lots of oak, but then there's this caramel component to it, taste-wise. Not so much from the sweetness, it's always there somewhere, but vast parts of your mouth are then coated by this oaky tannins. It's definitely nutty. Ground hazelnuts, almonds. Yeah, this savoriness from the nose sort of then expands to the palate as well, but at the same time the oak asserts itself quite well with lots of sort of tea-like associations, so herbal teas, aniseed, menthol, mint, all carried through this overt oranginess and the oak. So finish wise, it's rather, well, it's medium to long. On its way out, there's sort of this brandy infused raisins. Right now, here, middle of November in Germany, in Rostock where I live, they set up all the stands for the Christmas market again, and then in the coming weeks we have lots of opportunity to have a glass of mulled wine basically everywhere, and some of those stands they then also prepare sort of dried fruit infused with all kinds of alcohol, rum, amaretto, liqueurs. And this is what I get here in the finish. So it's very warming as it goes down, sweet still. Yeah, the sweetness then comes back through. And the savoriness from the nose and palate then also permeates to the finish. So the figs sort of assume this savory component, like in the chutney I've ever had in a restaurant or elsewhere, sort of a cheese platter with mango or fig chutney. This fits this quite well, I think. So great whiskey, very well done. All right, let's head to the Solist, so single cask. Much different on the nose, not nearly as sweet and juicy. The dried fruit are pureed, mixed with coffee and chocolate. The oak is much stronger and very herbal. That's what I had 2 other Solists so far, and they were all very herbal from the cask influence. herbal candy, sweet herbal cough drops that you can buy in pharmacies here, around here. And the entire oak is very heavy. There's orange already on the nose, so a little parallel there. The orange component is quite distinct in this one on the palate, but you already have this here on the nose. So I'll try a little sip without any water. Right in your face with the oak. Even though it's very oak laden, it stays rather juicy and sweet on the palate. But what really strikes you is that the palate introduces sort of a sulfury component, faint notes. And in this case, it's not very strong. It's not nearly as strong as in some other examples. Some Benrinnes, sherry Benrinnes from the 80s in particular, or Mortlach. It's very mild. Here in Germany we have a dish called Königsberger Klopse, so Königsberg meatballs. And you always have the sort of a white sauce and with capers. I love capers, but it's not as strong as the pure capers with the acidic vinegar and salt right out of the glass, but instead, if the capers are already in the sauce. So this acidity, this little fainty sourness comes through on the nose now and also on the palate. Oh yeah. Now having a sip without any water. It's very prickly, tingly, very savory as well. So that definitely parallel. So just imagine the Solist watered down to 46% and with a dash of PX sherry influence. And so this is, you can definitely see the familiar relation between these two. So I'll try it again. Just one drop of water. So already not that much in here in this glass anymore. Yeah, with water, the savory component comes out even better. It reveals this oaky sourness, acidic component next to all the sweetness still. So the caramel and the dried fruit, the figs, the dates are still there. And on its way out, finishes medium. You have date paste, sugared espresso, and mint chocolate. Yes, so great stuff, both of them. I like the sherry oak a little better in this case. I've had other Solists that I liked tiny bit better, more balance to it, more complexity, but this one is a really great whiskey. Score wise, I would give the sherry oak with 46% 89, and the Solist followed right behind it, 88 points out of 100, so barely scratching the 90 points. They lack a little bit of balance, a little bit of complexity on nose and palate, but what they do, that is sherry maturation, they do exceptionally well. So highly recommended, price-wise competitive in today's whiskey market, around 70 to 80 euros and this one around 100 euros. So yeah, recommend it. Have a look out and let me know what you think. Yeah, leave behind a like or subscribe even, and tell me maybe what's your favorite Kavalan that you tried so far. And yeah, then stay tuned, come back for the next review, and I'll see ya. Bye bye.